I've spent 5 episodes of this story talking about the work I did at Oaklands from 1988, when we started Catherine, through till 1990, the summer of, when in the end we finished Catherine. And when I'd arrived there, I'm pretty sure that I would have given Brian Price, who was the music teacher there, and an amazing songwriter, a very strong impression that I was there to do musicals as well. And I was, and we kind of got completely distracted. And I remember feeling very, very awkward about it at the time. But when the offer for America came in, that coincided with a meeting Brian and I had in the library at school to try and figure out what our next musical should be. So in 1989, in the library, we sat and we had a so frustrating meeting. And we came up with the idea of doing a story about the Wright brothers. It never really got off the ground. I don't know what happened, but it didn't really get off the ground. And both of us said what would be great is if we can find someone like Graham who lives locally and we can do a story of someone local. The idea didn't come until the following year, so 1990, when my GCSE group were approaching their final exams, and a young lady called Sarah Stanbury was having problems with her GCSE. And they were 2 weeks away from the exam. She was someone who should be getting a decent grade. And nothing had happened. And I said to her, Sarah, I know you play football, but here's Sarah playing football. And it was unusual in 1988 for someone to be as good as she was, who was female. She was quite exceptional. And why don't you do a story about you playing football? I didn't know anything about it, but when she produced the play, she and Leanne Humphreys, there were two of them, they produced the most amazing piece of drama. And I said to her at the end of their exam, and they got great results from it, I said to them, that was amazing. Can I talk? And it was obvious that she and her mum and dad had disagreements about football. Can I talk to your mum and dad, and do you think they'd be interested in us doing a play? Yeah, I think they'd love it. So I did, and they really thought it was a fantastic idea. Now, for me, football has been a great thing. As you know, in that first episode, I won the football cup at school for being the best footballer, and it was one of the greatest things I ever achieved. This was my signature that I developed so that when I became a professional footballer, I could draw it over a football. Sedge was living, Sarah, and everybody called her Sedge, was living the life that I wanted. She was going to be a professional footballer. And there she is in the Southern Daily Echo, who covered her work a lot. And here's her mum and dad. God, this is a big old paper to try and organise. There's our mum and dad, Rob and Sue, and Sedge as well. And there she is playing at Oaklands. And we got on. We wrote the musical, and for me, it was going to be the perfect thing. And if you say to me, well, what did you ever write where you really wanted where you really felt it could be a hit? This was it. This was it. Lethal in the Box. Great title. Great songs by Brian. What an amazing picture as well. This was him around his musical equipment. He was quite a star at producing fantastic songs, the like of which I couldn't write. He wrote the lyrics as well. And I wrote the script. It was a lively script. It had lots of the elements that you'd imagine Hard to Swallow had. And I'm just going to read you a bit because it's something I really, really like. So this is a speech that I did trying to copy kind of Stephen Burkoff-y things. A quaint little hideaway for out-of-nappy in-betweenies keep themselves cleanies, where saucy secrets are given their first airing of this generation, flavoured with a strong scent of trying to invent a better story than the one the night before. Welcoming peers' ears approve before the following night they go on to improve and prove themselves. real-life Chinese whispers where truth and fantasy merge to emerge as I'm growing up. All this outside the local shop, alongside environmentally friendly human consumer, providing ball substitute for a new Lineker to score another scorcher, hearty shouting, no doubting the skill of that particular kill. But we're only on the outside. Inside, it's a kid's eye paradise. A shop selling sugary sweets and sweet picture comics just above, hidden from view are very few out-of-reach dirty mags with pickies the wet behind the ears eyes love to spy, sexism on the shelf making pelf. The mags, and miles of fags, takes you from rags to riches, riches to rags. Dozens and dozens and dozens, waiting for lips to drool or some fool to buy them. Why are thrills always out of reach to every kid? Well, maybe not. The shopkeeper comes in. A need the money shopkeeper, but very kindly, what a find. A child styled on street corner adults and ready to be trapped, strapped into wanting cigarettes. So it was about growing up as well. It was a fabulous play. We showed it to various publishers, and they agreed. That's the little. That was the poster for the auditions. Well, which way up should this be? The poster for the auditions. There we are. And we got a cast, a fantastic cast, which, and now, of course, having been there for a few years, we'd got very experienced people. So Gary, who had been in from the beginning, Kate, who had been involved in throughout Hard to Swallow, played the mum and dad. Claire was a newbie, and Louise, who played the older Sedge, was also a newbie. But all of them were stunning. Claire was actually a footballer as well. A big cast of energetic boys playing the boys' footballers, and a cast of equally energetic girls, not looking quite so energetic there. That was their formal team photo. And an amazing choreographer amongst them. I know my wife Rachel did the choreography, but I think her name was Leanne. And we brought in the wife, the husband of the art teacher, was a professional footballer, played for Pompey. And he came in to train some of the girls playing football. It went down really well. So here's the Southern Evening Echo's review. Lords Hill soccer player Sarah Stanbury has set up teachers Mark Wheeler and Brian Price to score a massive musical drama success. Her struggle with her family, friends and the authorities to become a top footballer inspired Mark to write the play, which has been set to Brian's thumping rock music and soft ballads. The play is a cry for equality in all things, as well as being about every teenager's growing pains, fiercely anti-smoking and drinking and not keen on shop assistants or hairdressers. It's the hairdresser scene is one of the best I've ever written, I think. It's a really big kind of Brussels sprouts scene. It features on the definitive Wheellerplays DVD and on that book, in that book as well. It's a stunning scene where you can get a big group of people doing a scene that is similar to the style of the Brussels sprout scene in Hard to Swallow. It's a tribute to Sarah's unquenchable spirit, but it also shows her warts and all, shoplifting just to become one of the lads, and her stubbornness and her silliness. It's a real ensemble piece. It's performed with deafening noise, high energy, unpretentious talent, dance and mime, and captures the mood of football terraces everywhere. Oakland's Youth Theatre has produced a winner which could hold its own on any professional stage. Great review. Fantastic. Guy Whittingham was the name of the footballer, and his wife, I'm pretty certain the art teacher, did this, Mrs. Whittingham, did this wonderful poster which took us to the Edinburgh Fringe. So we took all of this bigger group up to Edinburgh Fringe. We had an amazing time there. We had Adrian coming with us, who was from Stopwatch, and he was able to do the technical side of things. We had relaxing times, we had wandering off to theatre times quite a lot, and we had a review from the Times Ed supplement. great review. I'm going to read it. Imaginative, excited, disciplined, tuneful and very funny. Oakland's Youth Theatre production of Lethal in the Box. Sometimes productions that should be given plaudits just never come to attention, and such was the case with this exuberant musical by Mark Wheeler and Brian Price. The ensemble work by the Southampton-based company was immaculate, and the way in which music, dance, mime and acting were brought together in the production was stunning. The 5 girl singers were captivating. Brian had a music school, and he just had people who could sing and play, and it was brilliant. Gary Richards and Kate Noss, who played Sedge's parents, brought an extraordinary maturity to their parts. But the play is about much more than football. It's about growing up, pursuing your talents in the face of adversity, the temptations of teendom, sexual stereotyping, friendship, romance and family life. I submitted it to a number of publishers. It was rejected more times than I care to remember, but finally it was published by School Play Productions, who last year sadly closed down. It now isn't published. I wanted to try and revive it. I made an attempt to get in contact with Sarah so that we could put a historical context on it now that women's football is really taking off. I feel it's something that could happen. Sarah didn't get back to me. Sedge, if you're watching this, do get back to me. I really would like to work on it. And I had a group who wanted to perform it. It was performed from time to time, and it remains one of my favourite Wheeler plays, or Wheeler musicals. And thanks, Brian, for your massive input, because we should have done more together. And sadly, I think shortly after this, you moved on, and that was it.